I can talk to you for 1 hour the same day I meet you and know whether you will be easy for me to control or not. Hi, Bella Beauties. Welcome back to my channel. This is the fifth episode of the Manipulation Tactics series. Today's theme is control. Are you a person who always end up being in controlling relationships, whether that's romantic relationships, friendships, colleagues, whoever? Do you always end up with controlling people that treat you like you're their possession, like they own you, like they're the boss of you? In this video, we will talk about the psychology of controlling people, the psychology of people that are easy to control, and manipulation tactics that are used to control you. Let's talk about the psychology of controlling people first. Some controlling people are usually just insecure people that feel powerless in their own lives, so they try to control other people to feel important. When someone feels like they have no control over their emotions or their bad habits or whatever circumstances that they're in, they try to compensate by controlling other people. It gives them this sense of stability and importance. So, for example, if somebody doesn't have the talent or motivation to work hard and make money for success or whatever, that person will try to control the other people around them in order to make sure that their reality stays the same. So, for example, they will try to control their friends, their partners, their family members to make sure that those people never surpass them, right? Because if those people never surpass them, then they don't have to work harder because they will be superior by default, right? Because everybody in their life will stay on the same level as them. That way, they feel more comfortable in their mediocrity, okay? Another example, if a guy is really insecure, and he feels like he's not that great or he's not that good looking, he's not that successful, so he doesn't feel like he's on your level and he feels like you're way out of his league, instead of leaving you alone, he will try to control you in order for you to never leave him, right? So he's very insecure, so he will control you and um, break you down, break your self-esteem down, become very controlling and possessive so that you will never wake up to who you are and leave them alone, right? So that's that insecurity. So a lot of controlling people are very insecure. Some controlling people also do not know how to control their own emotions. So in order to kind of counteract this, they try to control the other people around them externally in order to not change. So, for example, if somebody has anger issues, right, they will try to control your behaviors so that they don't have to face their own emotional instability. So, if they have anger issues, they will try to make sure that they break you down to the point where you're so scared of them and walking on eggshells that you're always quiet, you don't speak up, and whatever. So that way they don't have to get out of control. So they don't have to show that they have anger issues, because every little thing that you do set them off. So they try to control you because they can't control themselves. They can't control their emotions. Some controlling people fear uncertainty, so they've learned to control as a coping mechanism. So some people that grew up in toxic environments have a deep fear of unpredictability because they never felt safe. So controlling people allow them to create a sense of order and predictability. Say, for example, if this person had to always walk in eggshells because they grew up in an abusive environment, because they never knew when violence will occur or not, or when they will be subjected to harsh treatment. Predictability scares these types of people because they can't protect themselves, and make themselves feel safe if they're not in control, right? So they become very controlling as a coping mechanism to feel safe, because the thinking is, if I can control everyone and everything, I'll always know what's going on. I'll always know what's coming, and I won't be harmed. I won't be abandoned. I won't be rejected if everything revolves around me. I'll always be prepared and I'll finally feel safe, right? That's the thinking. If everything revolves around me, then I will know everything and I will always feel safe, okay? Some controlling people also have a need to feel superior. Okay, so some people boost their self-esteem by controlling other people. They want to dictate someone's life. They want to feel more powerful and more competent. Their own life is a mess. So these are usually narcissistic people and antisocial personalities. So when I say antisocial people, these are like sociopaths, psychopaths. Um, they're all about power and dominance. Okay, they love having power over people. They want to feel like you're God. They want to feel like they own you, like you are their possession, and they control you, and they're your God. Okay, they love that. Like they get like a euphoria feeling from like controlling people, right? They see other people as possessions and just like NPCs, so non-playable characters in their world, because this is their world and you're just living in it. You're just existing in it. They don't view people as humans, like not as humans, but it's like a living, breathing, independent, autonomous being. They just see you as somebody like an NPC in their life that doesn't really matter. Like, if that makes sense. Like they don't know how to connect with people and have genuine relationships, so they substitute it for power, control, and dominance, right? So to them, everything, power is everything. They want to feel like you're God. They want to decide what you do, where you go, who you talk to, who you're friends with, how you think, and who you become. Okay, they don't see people as individuals with their own thoughts and feelings. Instead, they view other people as possessions. So NPCs, okay? You're just a background character that exists to serve their agenda because it's their world, okay? So now that we talked about the psychology of controlling people, let's talk about the psychology of people who are easy to control, okay? Not everyone is easily controlled, but some people are more vulnerable to manipulation and dominance. And if you struggle with any of these traits that I'm about to talk about, it might be easier for controlling people to take advantage of you because you're easy to control. So, what's the traits psychology of a person who's easy to control? Number one is you're probably vulnerable. So you probably came from a traumatic background, abusive environment, or you're very insecure, or you're an anxious person. Or you have some type of social deficit, or you are just somebody who doesn't know how to assert themselves, um, or maybe you're very much alone. You don't have anybody in your life to protect you. Maybe you don't have a strong family system, or you don't know how to make friends easily. Somehow, some way, you're vulnerable, or maybe you are in a very bad financial place, or you're just in a circumstance that's not favorable that makes you very vulnerable. So if you came from any of those circumstances, your perception of love and care might already be distorted. You might not even know what real love is, or what it's supposed to look like or feel like. And this makes it easier for a controlling person to step in and redefine those terms for you. Okay. So if you're isolated in some way, whether it's emotionally, socially, or physically, you become even more vulnerable without a strong support system. Okay. And when somebody doesn't have a strong support system, it's easy for someone to manipulate you because you rely solely on them. So that's why controlling people, manipulators try to isolate you all the time, because when you're isolated, they can better control and manipulate you. So a vulnerable person is usually looking for some type of connection, like love, friendship, um, try to curb their loneliness, or try to fulfill an empty hole that's inside of them. So that's when you try to prove your love to people. You try to prove to people that, hey, you're a good person, you're a genuine person, and they should love you. These are the reasons why they should love you. You will perform for love. You will prove your love. And you look kind of desperate. So that's when controlling people, manipulators will pick up on this, and they will make sure that they control every aspect of you, because you are pining for love. You are working for love. You want a connection. You're desperate for it. You're desperate for something. So even if it's not about love, let me give you an example of, like, let's say somebody has been, um, maybe you got kicked out of your house, I don't know, as a teenager, and you can't really work to make money for yourself. You're vulnerable. So now a trafficker will probably spot you and know that you're hungry, you're tired, you don't have a place to sleep, And what are you going to do? You're probably going to fall for it when they give you some place to stay, some place to eat, some no whatever. And then before you know it, they're controlling you psychologically, and now you are working for them. So when you're vulnerable, you're easy to control. Number two is you're a person who doesn't assert your autonomy. Okay. If you struggle with asserting your independence and making your own decisions, you're more likely to be controlled. Okay. When you hesitate to take up space, or voice your own opinions or stand firm in your choices, someone will gladly step up and take control for you. Okay. So let's say, for example, you want to go to a different, let's say you want to go to McDonald's, and your friend said no, they want to go to Burger King. And you really want to go to McDonald's, but you don't speak up, you don't say anything. You let them make all the decisions in the friendship, or if let's say if this is a romantic relationship, you let them make the decisions. You don't assert your autonomy. You can still go to McDonald's. You know that, right? You don't have to do whatever they want just because you want to please them or you don't want to rock the boat. Okay. So if you constantly do this, you let other people take control of decisions of your life, of things you do. You are a person who is easy to control because you will not assert your autonomy. You will let other people make decisions for you. Like for example, there was this girl that I knew, and she just had her friends all in her romantic relationship. Like there will be some type of conflict or something or whatever. And as soon as something happens, she won't even take a minute to herself to talk to her boyfriend. She will come straight to her friends, and her friends will tell her what to do, and she will just blindly follow whatever the friend says. No sense of autonomy. Like it's like her friends were like her mom or something. It's like she just let her friends make all the decisions for her. If you don't assert autonomy, you are a person that's easy to control because you don't trust yourself, maybe, or you're just not knowledgeable, maybe, in certain things, or you just like for people to take control because you feel like if you assert your autonomy, that they will abandon you. So if you're a person like this who doesn't assert your autonomy, you are somebody that's easy to control. Okay. Number three is that you don't set boundaries the first time. I told you guys, manipulators, toxic people, predators, they don't just outright start abusing you right away. They test what they can get away with you. Okay. They do little things, especially for somebody who looks vulnerable. Like if you look like a perfect target, they start manipulating you almost immediately. They start testing your boundaries almost immediately. Okay. So if they do something to you the first time and you don't set a boundary the first time, that just opens the door for them to keep doing things to you. And at some point, they know that through trial and error, they know for a fact that you're not going to do anything. So that's how they start asserting control over you. So for example, I don't know, somebody keeps taking your pen from your desk. Okay. And you see them say, they don't ask, they just say, and you're too nice. You don't want people to think that you're mean. So you don't say anything. You just let it go. Next time they're going to come back and take a stapler while you're there. And you still don't say anything because you don't want people to think you're mean, that you're not a nice girl. Right. So they're going to keep testing and testing and testing you. And if you don't set boundaries the first few times, they know you're somebody that's easy to control because they probably think you're afraid of them. You're afraid of being seen as not nice, right? When you're afraid of being seen as not nice, you are somebody that's easy to control because you care way more about what other people think of you than you actually protecting yourself. Okay. Well, if I stand up for myself and yell and say something, though, everybody will think I'm not nice. Stop caring. People don't care that you're not nice. Okay. They don't care. Okay. Think about it. When you see somebody being wronged and they stand up for themselves, do you think, hey, that person is a bad person? No, you usually don't think that. You usually think, oh, good for her for standing up for herself. Okay. So for my people pleasers out there that are too scared to assert themselves or stand up for themselves because you think people will think you're not nice, people don't care. When you stand up for yourself, people actually love that for you. They respect you because good, she stood up for herself. She respects herself. think about yourself. When you see other people being bullied or wronged or whatever, and they stand up for themselves, do you think this person is a horrible person? No, you don't. You usually are happy that they did, right? So as people pleasers, that's how you need to start rewiring your brain on how to think when somebody crosses your boundary and you need to stand up for yourself. It's okay to not be seen as nice all the time. Okay. Number 4, a person that's easy to control doesn't ask questions or do their own research. Controlling people rely on blind trust. If you never question their motives, never verify what they say, or never seek out outside perspectives, you're giving them free reign to shape your reality however they want. Okay. Asking questions and doing your own research is a form of mental self-defense. If you don't do it, you're at the mercy of whatever narrative that they create for you. Okay. This is why it's so easy for people to get caught up in cults, because they don't ask questions. People that usually ask a bunch of questions to understand something, they usually don't end up in cults because they are not going to blindly trust somebody. Okay. So ask questions. If you're somebody that's too timid to ask questions, then that's a sign that you should not be around whoever that person is if you feel like you can't ask them questions for clarification. If in the Bible of Manipulation book, there's a chapter called Signs of Deception, and then a chapter called Signs of Deception with Dangerous Intent. Okay, and one of the signs is somebody who's unwilling to answer questions directly, or somebody who gives you very vague answers when you ask questions. Okay, if somebody is trying to set you up to get robbed and they say, hey, let's go here, and they don't really give you a bunch of like details when you ask, they're very vague with it, or like they'll say something and then they'll switch it the next, they have bad intentions for you. They have bad, that's deception. They have bad intentions for you. If you feel like you don't really understand something, like let's say the pyramid scheme people, let's use them as examples. When they come to you, they say a whole bunch of things, but you don't really understand what it is that, like, what it is. Like, it's like they come to you for an opportunity, right? Like, and they would be like, oh, this is such a great opportunity. You could be your own boss. And da, 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 da. So they're saying a lot of things, but nothing at the same time. And you're confused, right? You're confused. You don't know what this is. Like, what? And you ask questions, they don't really give you a direct answer. Okay. You guys, that is sign of deception. That's a sign of deception. Okay. Ask questions. If you ask questions and they don't give you a direct answer, or their answers are very vague, or like you still, after they've answered the question, you still don't understand it, the person is trying to deceive you. Okay. Controlling people rely on blind trust. So if you're a person who doesn't ask questions and you just blindly trust somebody, or you just be like, oh, well, it'll work out, let me not worry about it. Ask questions. That's why you're easy to control. Ask questions. Do your research. Okay. Or people that easily believe any conspiracy theory they see on the internet. Sometimes a Google search will give you the answer that you're looking for, but some people have confirmation bias. Like they don't want the truth. They want to believe whatever they think is right already, right? So they don't make the effort to actually research and do things. They just blindly believe whatever's in the internet that aligns to whatever they think is the truth anyway. So when you're a person like that, you're easy to control, you're easy to believe lies, you don't do your research, so you're easy to deceive, you're easy to control. Number 5, you have a strong sense of justice. Isn't this crazy? I know. When people have a strong sense of justice, they usually have high empathy, because they want everybody in the world to be okay, and they never want to see injustice anywhere, and which is a good trait, by the way. I'm not saying it's not, but people like that usually are easy to control their emotions. Okay. Because all the people have to do is lie about somebody being wronged or whatever, and they get any emotions directly, start fighting for people without, like, oh, all they know is somebody's being wrong, and they have to defend that person. And these are usually people that went through terrible things in their own childhood or their own life. So they're bound to never let other people go through the same thing, which is not a bad trait at all. I'm not saying it's not, I'm not saying it is, right? But when you're that person and you're not healed, it's very easy to control you because it's easy to control your emotions. Okay. Let's say you were, I don't know, you went through a DV situation, and your friend tells you that her husband is, doing the same thing to her. Automatically, you will believe them, right? I'm not saying don't. I'm saying automatically you will believe them because you're highly empathetic and you have a strong sense of justice. So you never want somebody to feel like that, right? So you feel like you need to hop in and save them, right? But sometimes people lie and they want to be, that's why I told you guys don't let people trauma dump on you, because they try to get you to do their dirty work for them, or they try to skew your perception of them as a victim so that you let them get away with more. You let them disrespect you. You let them take advantage of you because you know what they've been through, right? When you have a strong sense of justice, it's very easy to control. You're easy to manipulate because you probably believe anything that people say that is quote unquote injustice. So manipulators, predators know this, and that's why they tell soft stories to pull at your heartstrings so that you will try to save them, so that you let them take advantage of you more because you have to save them. They're a victim, right? So I know that's crazy. I know that sounds crazy. But when you have a strong sense of justice, you're very easy to manipulate because you are all about emotions. You work on emotions, okay? Controlling people twist your values against you. You might feel guilty for enforcing your boundaries because good people don't abandon other people. I'm not going to abandon her. I'm not going to, no, she needs me because she's going through this. She's lying to you. Tolerate mistreatment because you want to be fair all the time. They've been through so much. It's okay if she says that. She doesn't really mean it. Oh, she means it. Okay. And you are the ones going to be hurt that's going to be hurt in the long run because you're letting them do all these things. You guys, emotional harm. Okay. When people insult you, emotional abuse. Okay. When people do things like that to you, it actually causes a lot more damage than physical abuse. Do you know that? People stay in therapy for years because of emotional abuse and emotional damage. Words hurt. People doing certain things to you, saying certain things to you, engineering situations, that hurts you. Okay? Sometimes way worse than physical harm. Okay? Because physical harm will heal. Emotional abuse is going to take a long time to heal because of the damage on the psyche. Okay? And when you have a strong sense of justice because you have to do the right thing all the time, you become easier to control. Okay? Number 6 is you're desperate. Desperate people are very easy to control. Desperation makes you a very easy target for control. If you're desperate for love, friendship, approval, or validation, controlling people can sense it and use it against you, right? They will give you just enough attention, enough affection, or acceptance to keep you hooked. And then they'll threaten to take it away if you don't comply, right? When you're desperate, you might ignore red flags, you will tolerate mistreatment, and you will cling to toxic relationships because you feel like you need them, right? And controlling people love this because it means that they don't have to earn your loyalty. You hand it over willingly, okay? So when you're desperate, for example, let's say you're desperate for love because you never had your dad in your life, right? Men pick up on that, okay? And he will definitely make sure that he can control you, control your emotions, threaten to leave you, everything, so that they can get you to do whatever that you want them to do, that they want you to do, okay? Let's say you never had a group of friends, or you never really was able to make friends like that. You're desperate for friendship. That narcissistic female, she sees that and she knows how to better manipulate you using these tactics that they use because you are desperate for friendship, right? That job, that horrible job, um, because you don't have, maybe you don't have a support system, so you need money. Like you can't just stay in your parents' house when you don't have a job, right? So you would take whatever job comes at you because you're desperate. It only pays minimum wage and you have a college degree, but you can't find any other job, so you're desperate. So you're more likely to get that job and stay in that job out of desperation. And because people know that you're desperate for this job, no matter how shitty it is, they're going to treat you any type of way. The boss would treat you any type of way. The colleagues would treat you any type of way because they know you can't lose this job. You still have to stay there. Okay. Desperation makes you somebody that's very easy to control. Number 7 is you are a people pleaser. So we've talked about this a little bit already, but if you struggle with people pleasing, controlling people will see you as an easy target. Okay. You prioritize making other people happy at your own expense. You try to avoid conflict at all costs because you can't be seen as not nice. Okay. You have to be seen as nice all the time. This it makes you hard for you. It makes it hard for you to say no to people or to enforce your boundaries with people or stand up for yourself because you don't want to disappoint or upset people. Okay. Controlling people will exploit this by making you feel responsible for their emotions. Okay. If you try to stand up for yourself, they will guilt trip you, say you don't care about them, you're being mean to them, or accuse you of being selfish or withdraw affection to make you feel bad. Okay. They train you to prioritize their needs over your own, right? And that keeps you trapped in their control. So being a people pleaser is the telltale sign that you're a person that's easy to control because first of all, you care so much about what other people think of you and you're so scared to be seen as not nice, right? I talk about this in my video called You're Not a Good Person about how to break the chains of codependency and people pleasing. It's called You're Not a Good Person. So check that video out. But basically when you're a people pleaser, you put yourself in this jail, this prison, this box that says nice person, good person. And in your mind, a nice person, a good person never says no. A good person never stands up for themselves because they can't be seen as not nice. A nice person will never say something bad. If somebody calls you fat, you can't say that they're bald headed because that means that you're not a nice person. Oh, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that. No, it's okay to stand up for yourself. Okay. Being a people pleaser, you literally put yourself in the nice person, good person prison. And you only have one identity, which is nice. But we have other emotions. We have anger. We have annoyance. We have joy. We have this. We have that. You have to allow yourself to express all those emotions. That's what makes you human. So when you don't allow yourself to do that, and you don't allow yourself to be authentic to yourself, you are a person that's easy to control because you care about pleasing other people over pleasing yourself. Okay. So those were the 7 signs of somebody who is easy to control. Okay. Now let's move on to today's manipulation tactics. Every manipulation tactic that I'm going to talk about in this video is in my book, The Bible of Manipulation. You can cop it on Amazon or Patreon shop. First manipulation tactic is called dependency enmeshment. Okay. So dependency enmeshment is when someone frequently asks you to accompany them to places, events, even when it's unnecessary or impractical. What they're trying to do is monopolize your time. Okay, so when predators, when toxic people, narcissists, when they first meet you and they think you're a good target, perhaps they can tell you're a people pleaser or you're vulnerable enough or you're desperate or whatever. What they try to do in the beginning is test your boundaries. And a good way to test your boundaries is by monopolizing your time and attention. Okay. And I talk about these two. I call it time drain and attention drain. And by monopolizing your attention, what they try to do is create dependency enmeshment. Okay. It's what we're talking about. So these are the people that, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say you just met a friend, on campus or whatever. She wants you to go with her all the time. She wants you to be around when she does like menial things. When she runs errands, like she wants you around all the time just because she's bored and she needs your attention and your time, your energy, or whatever. What she's doing is she is monopolizing your time so that you can start feeling responsible for her, especially if this is somebody with a victim complex. So perhaps she has social anxiety, or she's this, she's going through this, she's going through that. So she's trying to get you to feel responsible for her emotions, for her life, for her well-being. Okay? Because when she does this, eventually she will never have to ask you for things. You ask you to do things. You will just immediately know to do it. Like, for example, let's say, okay, she asks you to accompany her to things all the time, to run errands with her, to whatever. So when there's an event or whatever, and she tells you, she doesn't even ask you to go with her. You just automatically know that you have to go because you have to save her because she has social anxiety. Okay. She's controlling you. She's controlling your time. She's controlling your energy, your attention, and she's making you responsible for her life and her emotions. Okay. You are her puppet. Like she's manipulating you. You are her possession. You only exist to serve her. Okay. They like to monopolize your time and attention to create dependency enmeshment because they want your life to revolve around them. Okay. And they establish this in the beginning by always having you around, always dependent on, always wanting your attention and time. That's why I told you guys, do not anticipate people's needs. Okay. Don't anticipate people's needs. If they're distracting you because they want attention and validation, they keep distracting you by talking too much or whatever, end it. Hey, I'm busy, I gotta do some work, like I'll talk to you later. Okay. They want you to accompany them to everywhere, to get food, to do this. Hey, I can't, I actually have something to do, or I don't really want to go. Okay. Some people can't be alone, especially narcissistic people. They need supply all the time. Like they feel like they're dying without supply. Okay. So they need your attention and validation all the time. So these people, you have to set boundaries and say no early. Okay. Because when they do this, they're trying to get you to have your life revolve around them. Okay. As if like you are their possession. Okay. And when you are somebody who's too nice to say no, or you feel like saying no to them will feel like you feel like you're being a bad person because they have social anxiety. They have this. They're going to their victim. They do this, da, da, da. Or you're too desperate. So you want any type of friendship. You want any type of relationship. You do whatever they ask you to or suggest you to do because you don't want to lose that connection. They are creating dependency enmeshment so that you feel responsible for their emotional, for their life, for their emotional, for their emotions, for their everything. They want your life to revolve around them. They want you to be their possession. They want you to only exist to serve them. Okay. Number 2 is emotional blackmail. So this is when someone uses your emotions against you to control your behavior or force you into doing something. Okay. So this either involves guilt, fear, or obligation, and it makes you feel responsible for the other person's emotional state. So this is kind of piggybacking off my last point about dependency enmeshment. So with emotional blackmail, this is very dangerous when you're a people pleaser, because when you're a people pleaser or when you're codependent, you feel responsible to save people. You feel responsible for people's emotions and people's circumstances. And you think of yourself as a good person, and putting yourself in that good person, nice person prison, you can be seen as not nice, right? So you have to do whatever the person says. Okay. So emotional blackmail will look like, so for example, this is a person that has trauma done to you, you know, their sob stories. Let's say they have social anxiety, so they need you all the time, they need you around all the time, whatever. So let's say, for example, there's an event, right? And they want you to come with them. They don't ask anybody else, they want you to come with them. Okay. When you say no, you don't want to, or no, you can't go, they start guilt tripping you. Okay. They start guilt tripping you. They start telling you that, oh, you don't care about them. You know how they are, you know how their anxiety is, and they need you and whatever. And you're a bad friend if you don't go with them and whatever. That's emotional blackmail. They're using guilt. Okay. And if you're a people pleaser, this is probably going to work on you. Okay. Or they use obligation. So, like I said, the reason why they create dependency enmeshment is to have you to feel obligated and responsible for them. So, if you know this person has social anxiety and you always go with them everywhere, you will feel obligated to go with them everywhere all the time, especially in this scenario, because you're the one that always go. They become dependent on you. If you don't go, oh, they're not going to be able to function without you. So you feel obligated to go. So, and then there might be fear. Okay. They might even threaten you like, oh, this friendship is over if you don't go with me. And if you're a person who's a people pleaser or who's desperate, if you're a people pleaser, you're probably scared that they're going to tell people that you're not a good person. um, because you care so much about what other people think of you. Or let's say if this is like you're desperate for that friendship or that connection, they use fear and threatening you to end the friendship to so that you can go with them. Okay, so that's emotional blackmail. It plays on your emotions to control your behavior. So that's either guilt, fear, or obligation. Okay, so do not let people monopolize your time or create dependency enmeshment so that you feel obligated or guilted into being responsible for them. Number three is rage. So we all know what rage is, okay? Rage is a emotional outburst, and this is to intimidate you, manipulate you, dominate you, and control you. Okay, when someone uses rage, they use anger to provoke fear, guilt, or submission in you. Okay, right? Because you're so angry, they're so hostile, they're embarrassing you in front of people, they're humiliating you. And if you're a person who's more timid, you might cave and just do whatever they want, submit to them so that they'll stop, right? That's not what you should be doing. When you're a person who's easily intimidated by anger and rage, you're a person that's easy to control. That's what they use to control you. So when somebody is raging at you, if you're not a person who freezes up, rage back. Okay? Rage back, or you can just walk away, depending on what the environment, what the circumstances is. Sometimes it's not worth it because you might end up going to jail. Just leave. Don't give them what they want. Just leave. Or with my people that went through traumatic environments like this, where violence and rage was a thing, perhaps you're the person that goes into freeze mode. So I talk about freezing, fawning in my book, The Bible of Manipulation, and how to heal that. So if you're a person who freezes or, get anxious, or you freeze, you don't know what to say, what to do, so you kind of just submit or fawn to make them feel, to make them calm down or whatever, to give into whatever they want. Do not give into whatever they want. What you want to do is get into somatic. In the book, The Bible of Manipulation, I talk about how to get yourself out of freeze and fawn into fighting for yourself or standing up for yourself. When you go into freeze, your body somatically processes that. So perhaps your throat feels heavy, your throat feels blocked, or perhaps like your whole system is kind of frozen. You don't know what to do. You can't walk. What you want to do is do little subtle things that can get you back from freeze into the present. So for example, you might want to try clearing your throat, right? Try clearing your throat, or opening your throat. Or what you can do is shift your feet. So like here and there, left to right, shift your feet. What you're doing is you are signaling movement. You're telling your body that you're in the present, that you're in control. Or what you can do is you can get your fist, just squeeze your fist, make a fist and just squeeze it, or bilaterally. So you squeeze one fist and then squeeze the other fist bilaterally. Or you can squeeze your calf muscle or your thigh muscle bilaterally. So you can do the one on the right and the one on the left. What you're doing is telling your body that you are in control, that you are in the present, that you're safe. Like you're telling your body that you're safe. Because when something scary happens to people that have been traumatized, your nervous system kind of shuts down. Your nervous system shuts down. And you have to tell your body somatically that, hey, I'm in control, I'm good, I'm safe, I can defend myself. So after doing all of that, after bilaterally tensing and then releasing yourself, you want to open up your throat and either do the vu breath, or you want to keep clearing your throat, or start humming a little bit, or start sighing to get your throat to kind of unblock, so that when it's unblocked, you can be able to freely say what you need to say and stand up for yourself. Um, get into somatics, guys. It is very, very good for speaking to your body, speaking to your nervous system, and letting them know that you're safe, that you can protect yourself, that you're not in that environment anymore where you couldn't defend yourself, because your body automatically does what it knows how to do. Okay. If in the past you freezing and shutting up and being quiet is what got you to safety, is what protected you, that's what your body knows, and that's what it's going to go into automatically. So you have to tell your body, signal your body that, hey, I'm safe, I can do this, I can do that, right? And then once you get out of the freeze, then you can tell that person raging at you like, hey, I don't give up what the hell you're saying, like, I'm not doing what the hell you want me to do, like, and then walk away. Like, you can defend yourself, right? Number 4 is jealousy induction. So jealousy induction is when someone intentionally involves a third party to provoke feelings of insecurity, envy, jealousy, or rivalry in another person. Okay. So let's use example like a guy you're dating, and he's an F boy, right? And he wants you to start feeling intense feelings for him. So he's trying to manipulate you. So what this guy does is tell you that your best friend is so hot, that she's hotter than you, right? And then what you would do is start hating your best friend out of nowhere. And what you would do is trying to get your boyfriend to think of you as more desirable, or start proving yourself to him that you're better, and you start pining for his attention, start working for his attention so that he can like you more. That's all manipulation. That's jealousy induction. You become jealous and try to compete for that person. Or let's say it's not a boyfriend, this is a narcissistic friend. They will tell you that their other friend so and so is so much better, she's this, she's that, and then that's to get you to start working for their attention. And the whole time, this narcissist, this manipulative person, is actually a horrible person that's not even on your level, but they do that to try to get you to work for them, and you could be way better than them. Like, then you start like doubting yourself, and then start trying to work for their attention to prove that you're better than the other friend. Like, start pining for their attention. That's manipulation. That's jealousy induction. When you are somebody that's easy to control, jealousy induction will work on you, because you're not secure in who you are. Okay. This point is called sunk cost fallacy. This is when you invest a lot into something, and then you don't want to walk away from it because you've invested so much into it that you feel like you walking away is wasting away your investment. How this happens with people and manipulators is that they will get you to invest a lot in them. So let's say, for example, this is a guy that asks you for money all the time and you give it, or you've invested so much of your time, attention, you've helped them, you've done this, you built them up so much, but there's still an abusive piece of that, is still manipulating, controlling you, and not treating you right. But you're scared to walk away because you've invested so much in the relationship. You invested so much in this person. Their name is on your house that they didn't pay for. You pay for their schooling. You pay for their college. You pay for this. You fought his baby mamas. You've done this. You've invested so much in this person that you feel like walking away is a waste of your investment. And manipulators know this, and that's how they get you to invest in them early on, because once you're invested, you're less likely to walk away, because I'm not going to leave him, and after all the work that I did, another girl is going to go enjoy my fruits of my labor, blah, 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 blah. That's that thing. You're easy to control. They're controlling you. The more you stay in a relationship like this, the more you stay in a friendship like this, the worse it's going to get. So just take your losses and just get away from them. It's not going to get better. Because the more you stay, the more you're investing, and the more you invest, the more you're gonna feel like walking away is a waste. So in the beginning, when they get you to do certain things for them, say no. Like, hey, I can't borrow you that money. I can't lend you that money. I can't travel an hour to come see you. I can't do this and that for you. I can't do this. Some things that are outrageous to do, especially in the beginning, don't do it, because if you invest too much, you are less likely to leave. Okay. All right, that's the end of the video, guys. Go ahead and check out the Bible of Manipulation book. Everything that I talked about today in this video is in my Bible of Manipulation book. Go ahead and check it out on Amazon or Patreon shop if you don't have it available to you on Amazon. Check out the Glow Getter Guide and the Trauma Dump Journals on Amazon. Thank you, Glow Getters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.